Giving me this opportunity to address, such an esteemed crowd. And trust me, I'm really, really honored to stand on the stage as whatever that I am today. So thank you so much once again. And without any further delay, let me just start. I'm actually a very walking, talking person. So I can walk. Yeah. Yeah, that's possible. So these are all the tactics, right? This is a thought leader standing on the stage. So I'm a walking, talking person, right? And then if I'm going to probably, there's no glass of water here, but I should have taken a sip by this time. That will give you something is coming through. I should have been standing like this and looking into your eyes, few of you. Keeping my specs on like this is another trait, right? Though they can very well be there because these are for the closer distance. I really don't need my specs. So what is this thought leader? Who is this thought leader? What is thought leadership? So let me just take you through a small journey on thought leadership. And another thing, because of the camera, I cannot see people on this side, right? I cannot have an eye contact with you. So I have to get all this done to be a thought leader. That is what happens, right? Suddenly I'm being looked upon as a thought leader already. Thank you. My job is done. Alright. So what about thought leadership? So thought leadership is just not about being known. And that is what people have been talking about, right? Being known, he's a very known person. Being available on social media, being there and visible on LinkedIn, writing a blog on LinkedIn, or writing something on LinkedIn after every 15 days, waking up and saying I would have done that. So that's really not thought leadership is all about. It's a very wrong notion of thought leadership. Thought leadership is essentially about being known for making a difference. Is my blog on internet really making a difference? Am I impacting somebody's life? Or I am just getting a great thumbs up and a celebration and a heart support and all those icons that you see there where you get as a support on your LinkedIn. Is that what I am doing? Is that what I really want to do? When I say or when I call myself a thought leader. Yeah? So just about a few, again, let me come back, right? Thought leaders will always show you numbers. That is the number that makes the whole lot of a difference, right? That is what people look forward to. Thought leader, some presentation is happening. So there will be some number, there will be some graph, and the way they will be represented will be like the big number and the small text. Right? That's what really happens. So then so you get this, 61% of blah, 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 blah. Now it's all blah, blah, it's all English there. Trust me, people are trying to, you can. Definitely. It's not that it's English, worthless English. It is English which makes a difference, which matters. So 58% of decision makers say they choose a business based on the thought leadership. What they see on the websites, what they see as the content on a company website. When you are going and buying a product also, and I'm not talking about FMCG, right? When you are going and buying a product, when you are looking at something when it comes to, that is needed for your organization. Let's say you want to, buy a platform or an app, you will go to the website. You will see what kind of information is coming off that website before you make a final decision. While they do come and give you all these presentations. So we do get carried away by that also, but yes, other people go somewhere else too, and 50% of decision makers spend at least 1 hour in a week to read the content which is related to thought leadership. So they want to read that content which gives them that, which satisfies their intellectual curiosity. Thought leader, right? Intellectual curiosity, the right words to be used at the right time. So again, thought leader. So I need to just keep on reminding you guys that who is a thought leader, right? Okay. So when anybody talks of thought leadership, you go Google, you will find all these things. There is a process on thought leadership. There is a complete flowchart of thought leadership. Slide. Alright? So there is this whole process of thought leadership, there is this whole, and I'm not saying any of that is wrong. No, nothing is wrong in that. But before even you start looking at the process, right? There is a live and kicking human being which stands before the process starts. You need to understand your own self before you say that I am a thought leader or I want to get onto the journey of being a thought leader. So thought leaders have typical ways of managing their journey, right? First will come blogs, LinkedIn blogs, then medium.com blogs, then you will have somebody talking in webinars, then they will go further in a podcast, then you will be seeing them taking interviews with their SMEs, then eventually you see them writing a book. And that's the pinnacle of thought leadership. You have arrived the day you have written a book. Some people are doing it the other way around, they write the book first and then they start going backward in their journey. So all these, if you were to look at it, you will find something or the other in these boxes when you Google, and you will find that all these are there. But I don't want to talk about these, right? I want to talk about you and me. You and me as human beings. So heck, what is the anatomy of a thought leader? How does a thought leader look like, feel like, think like, talk like, right? And now it's interesting slide. Very, very interesting. You should watch it very carefully. You will find some resemblance that is there on the slide and on the stage. Other than the head. Right? So that is what my thought leader looks like. You might have different ways of looking at thought leaders, but that's what probably mine looks like. Okay, so what are those things? Alright, what is that anatomy? What is it from head to toe that is interesting? Original thinker. When you are trying to become a thought leader, right, there has to be some bit of originality of your ideas, and even if you don't have original ideas, it's not a bad thing to just start rethinking about certain ideas which are already existing. It's not that BMW made a car and then Audi never made another one, or a Mercedes never came, or Tata is not there. Nothing like it, right? It's not that there is only one startup related to health app. There are thousands of them there. So it's not that you really have to be, kill yourself for an original thought. It's okay even if the thought is not original, but at least you believe in that thought. That's what makes a difference. Second is think beyond. Even if you have a standard thought, it is an existing thought. What will take you here will never take you there. So you have to think beyond. How do you make a difference to that particular thought process which is already existing? And I think you made a very valid point, right? You have to think beyond. You are talking about, our thought process is very, very present. But we have to think futuristic. So the third thing is articulates well. See, acha English bolna aana chahiye, Hindi acha aana chahiye. So all these things will have to happen, articulation. Then comes the next part, authentic. So authenticity also will not come just like that, right? Authenticity is something when you truly are passionate about something. Then only authenticity comes out. Otherwise, it doesn't come out just like that. And obviously, you have to be a good listener. So unless you don't listen to what's happening around you, within you, outside you, with your peers, with your colleagues, with the world, with everything, nothing happens. So you have to gather those thoughts. And like I said, right, they go to podcast, then they go to SME interviews. What are they trying to do? They're just trying to be good listeners. They're trying to gain what others have gained. It's not always for you to experience everything. It's not humanly possible. So let's gain from each other's experience, and that is why your talk show is there, right? You're gaining from each other's experience today also. Resilient. My introduction said, if somebody heard properly, resilient coach, right? Resilient is the key. You fall down, you get up, you fall down, you get up. And it's not about how many times you fall down and how many times you get up, it's about the speed that you get up every time. Then is the right company. I am today in the right company, right? I need to choose which program do I need to go to, which program should I leave. And I am an option seeker. So as a thought leader, you have to be an option seeker, and I'm not saying a solution giver. There are difference between solution giver and an option seeker. Solution giver will come, give the solution and go away. Option seeker is the guy who will sit here, listen to you, try and understand where you are coming from, and then start seeking solutions. So, but all these 9 things, right? They're just not being given just like that. So let's call me off. I'm no longer there on the stage. Alright? But what is important will now come. What are these 3 things? They are, if you see this, they are related to the brain. And what does the brain tell you? You need to have an open mind. If you have an open mind to accept things as they are, you have an open mind of think beyond, you have an open mind of having original conversations with people, tie it along with a open heart. Alright? So I have an open mind. I have a great idea. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? But I don't have an open heart even to listen to you. So I don't take anything back. And I'm just doing it by my own self. So I can only do that limited stuff. If I don't have an open heart, I'm not authentic, I'm not passionate, I'm not a good listener, right? That thought remains here only. It will never see the light of the day. Because I have not taken into consideration what's happening on the other side of the room. And last but not the least, I have a great thought. I have taken everybody's inputs, I have got what I wanted to get, and we have a very, very balanced way of doing things. And then what do? I sit back at home, enjoy my COVID days. Everything goes down the drain if you don't have the open will. Open will to make it happen. So this whole thing of open mind, open heart and open will is actually based on Otto Scharmer's theory U, which you can definitely go back and check. He is a live and kicking professor in Massachusetts. So it's not one of those dead guys here. He's very much alive. And he's doing an amazing job across the world when he's talking about theory U. And this is just not even the tip of the iceberg of the theory U. What I've shown you today is just the 3 stages of an open mind, an open heart, and an open will to do things. Alright? All with me? Sure? There till the end? Yes. Okay. So just a couple of more slides and I'm done. So I'll just show you a few of the examples. Right? Some you might know, some you might not know, which is okay. So these are the thought leaders that are there very much in our country. If I had more time, I would have engaged with you and asked you, okay, who are the thought leaders you think? Somebody would have said Ratan Tata, somebody would have said, Mukesh Ambani, and somebody would have said Abdul Kalam, and we would have got all the known names, right? But these are some of the people who had really, really made a difference. So he is Sundaram Verma. He does dryland agroforestry, and he has put in about 50,000 plants, which take about 1 liter of water, that's it, to make them grow properly. And what has he done? Thought beyond, original thinker, passionate, authentic, resilient, and option seeker. So I have just tried to relate people who have been doing different things in different walks of life. Then there's another one, Alina Alam, a special kid herself, a child with intellectual disabilities herself, right? She is the CEO of Mitti Cafe, and she has been providing training to the persons with disability, and they have so many of these cafes now going around, 13 cafes, 116 adults who are employed in these cafes, and she was all of this and is all of this. Will we all agree, right? Next example, Gauri Samant, another one who has taken, HIV children, ensured that HIV children get a place in the world, and they are doing amazingly well now. So she is a goodwill ambassador. She picked up a child, transgender person who actually picked up a child of a lady who died because of HIV, and she took that girl, and that is why she said, motherhood is not judged by a gender. And this is what she is. Very, very different, right? And these are all our people. They're not from the other India. They are Apna India, Apna Bharat. And last but not the least, in the movie bhi bani, Mr. Anand Kumar, Aidhi, I am sure Akshay Kumar movie or I don't know, Hrithik Roshan, somebody is. Hrithik Roshan. Hrithik Roshan, yeah. So in the picture bhi bani hai. So that's what it is. And just now, the last two slides. One is, and these are both my quotes. See, thought leaders do have some quotes at the end of the day, alright? So keep that in mind. So thought leadership is beyond the swanky offices and boardrooms. And I have just proven that to you. Thought leadership can start in any walk of life, in any age. There is another lady we have who does Paralympics. She won. She started her training only at the age of 40, right? And she went into sports at that time. Alina was far more younger to go into, getting her Mitti Cafe up. There is this Italy auntie or Italy grandma somewhere down south, right? She sells her Italy at 1 rupee till date. In spite of COVID, she was selling it at 1 rupee only. So, but she did not leave her cause. There is a cause. And last but not the least, thought leaders create greater impact when our three faculties resonate like a melody, and which is your mind, heart and soul. And once again, open mind, open heart and open will. And thank you so much with this, and I think about it.